Hello, my name is Maya Chavis, and I'll be interviewing Mary Varner, a graduate of Texas Southern University.
Hello.
When and where were you born?
I was born in Liberty, Texas.
What year?
Oh, in 1948.
Where was your family before coming to Texas?
My family is originally from Louisiana. Both my mom and my dad.
Growing up, was racism discussed in your household? And if so, what were the discussions about?
Okay, when I grew up, I went to a segregated high school. Racism was very much alive in Liberty, Texas. The school was not integrated until my senior year of high school. Mm-hmm. But yes, there was a lot of racism. There were separate water fountains. There were separate bathrooms growing up in the different areas of our little town. And so we were very aware of it. We would just told our parents that we just needed to make sure we didn't get in any trouble. If we actually had to go downtown to our downtown area for any reason, then we just needed to make sure we stayed out of trouble and make sure there were no racial problems.
What were your experiences with people of a different racial background?
Well, growing up, again, it was separate, not equal at all, and the children, the white is the different race that we dealt with, because in Liberty, there were only blacks and whites. There were no other cultures there. So, occasionally we were called the N-word, and at one point my sister and my brother were actually chased by some white guys. Wow. In Liberty. At night, in the community that I lived in, it was a totally black neighborhood, and at night the whites would actually come through the neighborhood screaming racial slurs at night. So we had to turn the lights out and sit in the house in the dark, until all of that was over.
That's crazy. What advice would you give a college student attending an HBCU?
Well, I think the most important thing that a college student attending an HBCU is, to get the best education that they can, but also not pigeonhole themselves into, just making sure that once they leave HBCU, then they're able to work in a diverse workforce that, that they not think that they can just make it in this world just by being black, that they need to be able to adjust and do the best that they can do on any job that they, pursue.
Mm-hmm. Why did you decide to attend Texas Southern University?
Well, my hometown is 45 miles away, and I didn't want to go far from home. Mm-hmm. And I'd heard some good things about Texas Southern University. As a matter of fact, my brother had actually attended TSU before I did.
Really?
Yeah.
What did you study?
My major was history, and my minor was government. And so my career goal was to leave and work for the U.S. government in Washington, D.C. Now, that didn't come to pass, but that was what I initially wanted to pursue. But, I actually ended up staying in Houston.
How did you prepare for where you are in life now?
Well, I actually obtained a degree from Texas Southern University, and I went to work for Southwestern Bell Telephone Company at the time. And it helped me in a sense that because I was a minority with a degree, then it helped me move up in the company somewhat, because, as a minority, you didn't have a degree, then they wouldn't promote you at all.
Yeah.
And if you had a degree, then they really didn't have a whole lot of reason as to why they shouldn't promote you. So by going to attending Texas Southern University and obtaining my degree, I think it did help me succeed in my employment with Southwestern Bell.
Were there any specific moments in history that you experienced while attending TSU?
Absolutely. In May of I went to TSU in September of 1966. In May of 1967, we had the TSU riot. And I grew up during the time of Black Power movement, where we were fighting for equal rights, for everyone. And we didn't want the separate but equal anymore, but we wanted to be equal. So we protested and we marched on campus, and we had some leaders who came down. Dr. Martin Luther King came and spoke to the students at the old Coliseum in Houston, and then Stokely Carmichael came down and spoke to the students at University of Houston. So we had a big Black Power movement. Well, in the midst of all of that, then we had the TSU riot in in May of 1967. And a police officer was killed. Several students were arrested. It lasted all night, and I was there on campus during that time.
Give a description of what the campus was like whenever you were attending.
Well, like I said, we were in the height of the Black Power movement, so you saw afros for the first time. Yeah. You saw the big ones, the small ones. You saw a lot of dashikis. There were a lot of rallies in what we used to call the pit. There were the sororities on campus, and they were doing their thing as usual. But it was a typical college campus for that time. Now, you don't see all of that today because the Black Power movement doesn't exist, but during the time I was there, there was a lot of issues dealing with Black Power and that movement, but we also stayed focused on our studies and had some enjoyable campus life also.
What year did you graduate from TSU?
I graduated in 1970.
Did you meet any lifelong friends at TSU?
I actually did, and we're still friends today. I have several friends that I met at TSU from other small towns. Some were from Houston, and we keep in touch today.
That's good. How would you describe your freshman year of college? Well,
my freshman year of college I was very, very homesick. I'd never been away from home before, so I cried a lot, and I several times started to quit and go back home, but I didn't because I knew my daddy was counting on me to be successful. And so I stayed, and I met a lot of new friends there, and eventually after 3 or 4 months, then I became acclimated to the campus because I actually stayed in the dorm at school. I didn't live off campus, I lived on campus. So my freshman year was spending a lot of time in the recreation facility and, libraries or whatever, but it was a good experience for me.
What are a few of your most memorable moments in college?
Well, let me say graduation, number one. Yeah, but, I had some really animated instructors there. I can remember Dr. Tompkins, who was my one of my history teachers, and that was my major, so I took several classes from him. And I remember him. I remember a couple of the Spanish teachers who were very good, so the instructors there, the friends that I met there, it was just overall just a good experience for me.
Are HBCUs important? Why not?
Oh, I think HBCUs are very important. In today's environment, a lot of the kids attend schools that are integrated, or where they are the minority, or where we are the minority, and they don't get to learn about our heritage and what our parents have been through, what our grandparents have been through, and they're able to do that at HBCUs. I think that because I attended an HBCU college, I think that Black experience is very important. I think that you learn a lot about your heritage and how we as a race have come so far, as far as being able to stand alongside that other person, a diverse group of people, and be able to say, I can do what you can do.
All right. Well, thank you for allowing me to interview you and for sharing all your experiences at TSU.
Thank you so much.